Slides. Sorry, I can't see. Okay, so apologies for this because there it is. Perfect. Thank you very much. So this is again the Creative Catalyst, an initiative by Chapel Hill Denham, and it's catalyzing the Nigerian creative industry. All right, so this was what I was talking about in terms of the industry growth, right? So we at Chapel Hill Denham, we believe that demography is destiny, right? And in this we're a huge we have a huge population, especially on the youths as well. And again, as I said, for most mature economies, the entertainment sector amounts to over 25%. And then we all also know, I mean, especially with the music industry as well, the economic power of the Nigerian diaspora, it's growing, and it's, you know, and it's growing at an annual rate of about 5.14%. And again, why is this sector growing? Is because of the rising population, the growing consumer class as well. Can you go to the next? Sorry, I'm not clicking. Right. So what do we as Chapel Hill Denham view as the creative economy? And that's the thing, it's really vast, right? So we're here talking about film, but in terms of our creative catalyst, we want to push the creative sector, and that also has to do with all these, as well as supporting services as well. So in terms of infrastructure as well, distribution, transportation, logistics, everything that has to do with the whole value chain of the sector is what we call the creative economy. And next slide, thank you. And so historically, so I'm just going to, and again, I know I'm preaching to the choir right now. Historically, you know, to be able to fund projects, especially film, any project in the creative sector in Nigeria, people had to, you know, it's family and friends, right? Or you have slate deals, the DFIs, and the government, or where we say still, loan sharks that would now take really huge margins on the productions. But however, the capital stack to support the sector does not exist because most investors, did not understand this, the sector, and were not willing to work with, you know, the industry leaders to be able to understand the sector. And as well was governance, because most people as well, you have a good idea, but, you know, just in terms of having the preparation, having the right budget, understanding how the investor is going to get their ROI was still something that was quite iffy, but it is changing as well. And then, next slide, please. Fine. So this is where we as Chapel Hill Denham come in, and this is our approach, and we've used this approach in terms of our infrastructure, our real estate as well, and our venture investment into tech. We look at the opportunity, and that's why we gave the slides prior to now is really talking about the sector. We'll listen. So before we started the Creative Catalyst, which I'm going to introduce very soon, we talked to industry leaders. We had a lot of information sessions talking to industry leaders. How exactly could we help, right? And then we learn. We have a lot of stakeholders engagement, and we're still doing that till today. And then what we do next is we dip our toes in. So Creative Catalyst, as we're funding with our own funds right now. And then we get early results, and then we go big. And that's what we've been able to do with other of our funds that we have. And now to the Creative Catalyst. So what is it? It's basically an initiative in which we call for applications for, again, anything that has to do with the creative sector, film, including film, of course. And then we have a portal that opens up. The next portal is going to open up in January next year. And then we review applications. So what is it in the portal? You just submit you answer a couple of questions, and then you submit, you know, your pitch deck for whatever project it is that you're working on. Then the next step is the team we now do the reviews. So I'm going to give you a snapshot of our first cohort, but we had over 540 entries, And we looked at every single one of them, right? Because we wanted to give people a chance to be able to project and not use, algorithms to be able to put that down. So this is how very serious we're taking this process. And then what we did was then we now selected a few projects that will go on to the due diligence stage, and then we asked some due diligence questions, and we had them fill that out as well. So further narrowing down the pool. And from the due diligence stage, again, I think there were literally 2 due diligence stages, because the next one was a financial due diligence stage, so they had to present in their projects and their revenue projections as well. And then once you get through that stage, and then there's an accelerator as well, because again, one of the problems that I had highlighted earlier is the lack of governance, the lack of understanding, how much the project would actually cost and how much the project would actually make. And that's something that investors are very, very keen on learning, right? So we have an accelerator on that, and project management as well. One of the very interesting models on this was project management as well. And then after this accelerator, there's a demo day where people now present, the people that are skilled through present, and then they are awarded. We finance, we fund the project. So we're currently on our first cohort, and we started in June of this year. As I said again, we had over 500 entries, and we had 23 projects that went through to the accelerator stage. And for the deal day, we have 15 projects going for the deal day, and we would be funding up to 8 of those projects. And so something that we want to reiterate here is that it's not a one-off. This is something we're going to be doing. And as I said again, the next cohort is going to start January next year. If you could. Yes, so the criteria, it's pretty loose, right? So it must be, the project must be, and the business must be registered in Nigeria, because it's the Nigerian sector that we want to promote. There's a clear path to revenue and profitability as well. And the proof of past projects, past experience, right? So that always gives investors like, okay, they've been able to do it, they could do it again, so that it's a plus, but not a requirement. And then of course the project has a long-term value. And then I just want to show the snapshot of what we've done so far. Perfect. So again, as I said, like 103 qualified for due diligence. The accelerator had 25 qualifiers, and the demo day is going to feature 15 businesses that have been selected. And of course, up to 8 would be funded. And then the film category had the highest number of entries, and of the 15, it also has the highest number of entries as well. And that's over there. And then, yes, I said this was going to be short and simple, and we could open up for questions as well. And I see this. Thank you. Thank you for those clapping for me. Thank you very much. I can barely see. Sorry, I can't see the lights.
The mic would roam. I would take my advantage as project director to give this first question.
Okay. Oh,
sorry.
wow, okay, awesome.
I apologize.
No problem.
So my name is Isioma Idibe. I'm project director at AFRIFF, and also I'm a lawyer, partner at law firm Punuka Attorneys and Solicitors, specializing in entertainment.
Awesome.
And this is great. I've been involved in many an accelerator, in structuring many a fund in the sector. So it's always great to see another institutional investor coming into the space. Just a quick question around this catalyst. Yeah. When the finalists are selected and the projects are financed, what is the support structure for those projects? Or is the assumption that the skills that they learn during the cohort are sufficient for them to be able to successfully execute their projects?
Oh no, the support is ongoing, right? So what we do as well, and we've done this for all the investments we've done, not only in the creative space as well as, again, in the infrastructure and gender space as well, is that we work with the we work with the promoters, honestly. So in terms of the full, in terms of selling the project as well, in terms of introducing them to people that can help them as well, we do that. And then even in terms of after we disburse as well, monitoring that they keep to time, they keep to plan and all that. But when I say monitoring, we're also not going to be very we're not going to disrupt the creative process, is what I'm saying. But it's not us giving funding and just leaving. No, we will be there through the long haul.
Hi. My name is Brenda. I'm with the
Brenda.
British Council. 3 questions. So the first one is, I saw something there that said culture. Is that in reference to theater?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh, we got a lot of theater. So I don't want to give out too much information, but in terms of a couple of the finalists as well, it's more very theatrical as well,
Okay.
not just films. So it's
Awesome.
it's the whole
whole
creative
value chain.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the last bit of your slide, I couldn't see the categories that were going to be funded. You had 7 projects over there, and I saw film. Were there others?
There were other categories that made the cut.
Such as?
So there was animation as well as a documentary as well, and the sports as well.
Okay. And I think my final question is this a loan?
So it's not. So the thing is that, I mean, every project has a different type of financing, right? So it's not just going to be one financing fits all. So you even answered the question of Ishrama as well. It's not just a product that, we would work with whoever we decide to fund as well. So it could be a loan, if that's what the project, or it could be some kind of mezz as well, some type of convertible, if that's what the project requires as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would there be any opportunity, or rather, would you be interested in equity?
Oh yes, definitely. So it's the whole value chain. So it could be debt, it could be equity, or it could be a convertible.
Is this program limited only to Nigeria, or is there a plan for the rest of the continent?
For now, Nigeria, but there is a plan for the rest of the continent. But for now, Nigeria, again, this is the first cohort. It's a new initiative. And we do feel that there's a lot of opportunity here in Nigeria right now. So it would be for Nigeria, and then going forward, we'll probably move.
We need to talk.
Huh?
We need to
Oh,
talk.
definitely. Thank you. Any more questions? I know everyone is here for animation, but
Hi.
hello.
Hi. So I just want to make a comment. So I was part of the cohort, and in the previous session we talked about how to access funding, and I just want to let you know that it's not magic. You don't need to know anyone. I went for a pitching event. I pitched. I was called. I went through the whole process, and I believe that I did the demo day, so I think I was part of the last 15, and it was just easy throughout. So I really implore you guys, if you can look out for them and then find them, it's actually easy. There's no special process to just apply and then fill in all the requirements, and you possibly will have a chance.
Thank you so much, Jide.
And we didn't plant him here.
No, and we did not plant him here. So I know, because I mean there have been initiatives like this in the past, but we actually are taking this extremely seriously. And as Jide said as well, it's a process, but it's fair. It's not like we know people and then no. It's literally on the project itself, on the project and who the promoters of the project are in terms of their experience.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't know. I feel I'm not getting some of the communication clearly.
Okay.
Because some of the terms you are using, they are more of financial terms, and someone asked the question, if this is a loan, and you said no. I want you to clarify on that, so that I can understand what this is.
So different projects require different types of funding. So what we're saying is that if your project, we see that is not really a loan that is needed at this point, we would not give you a loan, we'll give you equity or something that is in the middle, where it's equity-like, but if the project is not making any headway, we might move it into equity. So again, it's always on a one-on-one basis, which is why I said that even with all the entries, we looked at each of them one-on-one because they all require different types of financing.
Okay, so
Right.
so if what is needed is a loan, what is the repayment plan like?
So again, it depends on your project, right? So if it's a film, we still have you still need the money to go through pre-production, post-production, and then actually release and stuff. So we're definitely not going to be charging interest while the project is ongoing, right? So and of course as I see now, different projects, even if it's film, they all have different different tenors, right? So whichever one we decide to finance, we're going to work with the promoter, we're going to work with the project, right?
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Thank you very much for the interesting presentation.
Oh, thank you.
So mine is a quick question. Is there any limit or cap to the amount of financing you can provide?
No. And when I say no, let me, no, we're not going to do like $1 billion. Oh, if we find a project that is $1 billion and we can see our ROI and we can work with the person, of course we would, right? But in terms of doing our due diligence and looking for the projects to finance, funding requirement in terms of the amount was not one of the top 5 things we looked at, right? So if it's a good project, if it's a good deal, and there's something I also wanted to reiterate really clearly is that as Chapel Hill Denham on Creative Catalyst, we're not working on with ourselves because again we're not really in the market, so we have a lot of industry leaders, right? So as Judy would tell you, the facilitators were people that were in the industry for the accelerator, and for the deal there as well, the judges would be industry leaders. So it's if they say, you know what, this is this, we can see this, blah 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 blah, we would also take their we greatly value their input as well. So, but in terms of how much the project will cost, that wasn't one of our top 5 criteria. Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to find out when would the next portal be open for the next application?
So it will be January next year, and then we will definitely do a whole blitz on all our social media handles and everything. So you would hear about it. We would make noise. You would hear about it, and please, and it will be open for 3 weeks.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, hi. I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so actually it was sort of the same question I was going to ask, if you only looked at projects through your accelerator and the pitch days. There's no off cycle. It has to be through that.
So we want to go through the process. So the process again starts with the portal being open and you being able to answer questions and upload your pitch. And should you go through that, pass through that stage, there'll be due diligence. So there'll be more due diligence questions to be asked. And should you pass through that stage as well, you go through the accelerator. And the team is telling me there's a sign-up sheet as well. If you get your details, once the portal is open, we'll be able to send you an email as well, so you know that the portal is open. Okay.
All right. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Hero Daniels. So when I checked the top 5 categories that you mentioned, I saw films, animation, etc. You also included sports.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know when during the process, the platforms at which these projects are going to be put on.
Yeah.
Is it considered, for example, if we're talking about film, if I come and say, you know what, I'm not actually looking at the streamers to give me money, I'm actually looking at putting it across social media platforms, YouTube and Facebook to generate revenue, So does the platform that the filmmaker wants to put his or her film matter?
So the platform is for everyone, and I said it's just the whole value chain of the creatives, industry. And funny enough, some of the entries that we saw, and some that also went to our accelerator stage, we're going to use YouTube and social media as their revenue generation. And some of them was after the film, after the theaters, they sell to VOD, and then they would also, so. That doesn't matter to us. For us, it's like, look, have you done it before? Do you even have a following? Does this make sense? So does your revenue project? We do know how much we do know the standard amount of money being made on YouTube with movies and stuff. So if your projection is way off there, then it's like, you know, so there's a lot of work going through our due diligence process. Okay. And, oh, great. Well, thank you. I'm very encouraged with all these questions. I thought I was just going to bomb really bad here, but thank you so much.
Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
My name is Ehis. I work for Trino Motion Pictures. My question is, would you fund 100% or you'd require the person to bring like a percentage and you guys bring a percentage?
No. I mean, and again, it depends on the project. And for the projects we're looking to fund, we would fund majority of it and sometimes 100% of it as well. So it depends on the project. And some of the projects that have been shortlisted have already started production or something, so they've already raised funding and they've already used the funding as well. So it's just the, you know, the balance they need to finish the project as well. So we just have a whole, you know, different types of projects and the ones. So yeah, we could do 100, and if you've started already, then that's not 100 anymore, right? So. And. All right, so thank you very much. We have a list, so we can have your details, but look out. We'll be opening the portal again in January, and as we said again, this is not one-off. We'll try and do as many rounds as we possibly can during the year as well. Thank you very much.